to the gym, low-key.
You're a hat guy in the gym.
I'm a hat guy every single second of the
Are you
day.
serious?
You gotta
Like,
wear
at
a
the
hat.
gym too,
You gotta
though?
wear.
Bro, I think a hat in the gym, like, I feel weird if I don't have a hat.
Well, it's
What?
the reason I wear a hat in the
know.
gym
I know,
also
I
for the
don't
most
wear it.
part is because I'm doing it in the morning, and my hair's all over the place.
Dude, a
Fine.
hat before
Who you
10
trying to
a.m.
impress?
is weird.
Myself.
You're married.
A hat before 10 a.m. is fine.
Yeah.
You just fucking put a hat.
I'm gonna wear a fucking hat. I also have
No,
a
I don't
massive
care.
forehead.
I don't have anything against the hat.
You
in
can
the
land a
gym.
bone.
I just don't think it's a requirement.
777.
I feel like probably about like 80 to 90% of people I see in the gym have a hat on.
That's not true at all.
I agree with you.
I'm gonna go today. I'm gonna take
Definitely
a video.
not.
I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna send it to you.
Definitely not. I don't usually see hats.
Well, hey,
Maybe my
week 9.
week 9. Only one team won. Congratulations,
What's the
Jack.
Midtown thing?
Oh, only one team won. Well,
No, only one team didn't lose.
That's true.
no,
No, only
we
one
won
team
because
won. You win the bye.
in the bye week, you know,
Okay, I guess you could
it's
win
really
the bye.
nice when you don't have to play at all and you still are first place in the NFC West. You regain first place in the NFC
Oh,
West.
yeah.
It's nothing better than that.
You did win technically, then, yeah.
Yeah, we won. We got back to where we were supposed to be. Seahawks, they had their little moment. They had their week in first place. Yada yada. Have fun with that one.
Yada yada.
Yada, yada.
Gino
What
exposed as I said he would. He'd be seeing ghosts. We knew if Gino plays a good defense, though. How shitty he's been playing this whole year. Once he faces a real defense, they're really
Gino's
fun.
been really bad.
Seahawks fans have been calling for Drew Lock's name, which I'd
they
love to
actually?
hear. Yeah, MIZ.
Were they actually?
Oh yeah, dude. I was looking on Twitter. I just looked up Geno Smith. So I was like trying to be the first one to post a fucking highlight of him throwing a pick, and everyone was saying Geno Smith fucking sucks, bringing Drew Lock, all this stuff, and I'm like, see, because that's 2 wins for me right there. I got 3 wins this week. I got top of the NFC West. We got Drew Lock supporters coming out in full force, MIZ.
COU.
And then we also got Geno Smith's downfall.
Wow. Big week
for Jack.
had a week.
And you hit some parlays this weekend. You hit the first
Yep.
touchdown bet yesterday in the
Dude,
Chiefs
I
game.
woke up yesterday about 9:15, 9:20, taking a little shit, what have you.
Nice. What have you?
Then I'm like, oh, wow, wait, this game starts pretty soon. I did set an alarm so I could watch this. Who's going to score the first? I'm like, for some reason, what was top of mind? Texas Rasheed Rice. Of course, he was scoring the first touchdown.
Texas.
Bang.
Shout out SMU. Shout out Dallas.
Shout
That
out
was nice.
Dallas,
I
Texas.
I won 0 parlays yesterday, but I just bet a fuck ton of money on Ravens -6.5. And then there's another one with Ravens money line and Gino to throw less than 2 touchdowns, and that also obviously hit.
Obviously,
You did
So-
take Falcons a lot, though, didn't you?
I did, but then I also hammered the Bengals, so that worked too. Don't worry.
Well, if you want to bet on anything, go to thegameday.com/promotions. Well, let's
check,
talk about week 9.
Week 9.
Let's.
We'll start with the Dolphins Chiefs game.
Go for it.
We're going to go through a bunch of different games that were
Fire
exciting.
away.
And we're going to say, give us something that could be an overreaction
Adam,
after
just
this game.
rip the Band-Aid off.
What is an overreaction we could take away from that Dolphins Chiefs game?
Say it, Jack. Say
It's not an
Jack.
overreaction. I'm
Jack.
sorry, Adam. I love
Say
you.
It's not an
it.
overreaction. It's just a fucking fact.
It's just a fucking fact that the Dolphins are fraudulent. They're frauds. They've been frauds all along, Adam. The porpoises. It's how you always say, oh, the Miami porpoises. Porpoises, as we said, different from dolphins. Very different species. The Dolphins are a very different species than Super Bowl contenders.
Same thing as aioli and mayo.
Wow, I like that transition.
Same discrepancy as aioli and mayo.
Totally
different product.
You just added a little bit of garlic every time you played the fucking Panthers,
So let me ask you.
Broncos,
Wow.
the Patriots. Like, hey, all right. And
Here we
I got
go.
the stats because I really wanted to cook at him.
Here we
this morning.
go.
I felt in the mood for it. All right.
Fire it away.
So the combined record of teams that the Miami Dolphins have beat this year,
Oh.
11-30.
Oh.
That's bad, bro.
Yeah.
That's a
Don't do that.
That's a 268 win percentage. 26. That's bad. And the combined record of teams that they have lost to, 20-7. 741 win percentage. In those losses, Tua, 230 yards per game, 89.2 passer rating, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
In all of those losses.
In all the losses combined.
That's
Combined?
one game.
Combined.
That's a one-game stat
You
line.
said 3 touchdowns?
No, 230 yards per game, but 3 touchdowns in those 3 games combined.
Wow.
And then in wins, though,
Touchdown a game.
in wins against the mighty Patriots, Panthers, Broncos, and Chargers, who
Yeah,
we have
what have
already
you.
labeled as frauds.
Of course.
Of
Those
course.
teams that beat
In those wins, Tua,
good teams.
320 yards per game. Good. 114.8 pass routing. Exceptional. 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Great ratio. I'm just saying.
So you're out of your stats. You got it out of your. You got it off your chest.
Those are all my stats, and all I have to say is that the
you.
Dolphins can't beat a real team. They just beat up on the shit ass ones, and we were calling them Super Bowl contenders earlier in this year. I was doing that, and we failed to look at what was right in front of us. That they can only beat shit ass teams.
Hey, look, you got to beat the bad teams, right?
Wow.
You got to, but you also, if you're a contender, you got to beat one of the good teams you play.
Jack,
That's a good point.
are you done?
Yeah, I'm done now.
Okay, so per your logic, the Dolphins are frauds. Why? Because they're not contenders. Is that
they're
why?
not? They literally can't beat anyone. Like whenever they play a team that's actually good, actually like a playoff caliber team.
Well, I'm just asking, why are they frauds? Like, on what is the label? Because
earlier in this year we were calling them Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl favorites.
The
answer is the best offense we've ever seen.
Well, it can be at home.
It's not.
So yes or no, the Dolphins are frauds because they're not contenders. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the Dolphins are frauds because they are not Super Bowl contenders, or I don't even think they can win a fucking playoff game. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, so
they're not the team. They're not the team that the media and just the public
and all of us
made
hyped them
out
up to be. And I was hoping they were that.
So based off of your logic, 99.9% of the NFL is frauds because there's only been one team in the NFL that's been able to beat up on bad teams and good teams, and that's the Eagles. So let's just clarify that. Bengals have lost to teams. Chiefs have lost to teams. The teams that you talked about, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Bills lose to them. You know what the Bills and the Chiefs combined against teams that the Dolphins have blown out? Fucking 30 points.
We're not doing transitive property bullshit.
It's not about that. It's not about that. It's the fact that you are saying
those teams that beat teams with winning records.
You are saying that the team is a fraud only because they are contenders. What I'm saying to you is that teams are going to be good teams. Teams are going to lose. It's a win-loss league, right?
Yeah.
So
they have wins against teams that have.
And what I'm saying is that if the Dolphins are frauds,
what's the Dolphins' best win this year? The Chargers.
And the one thing I will say is I agree that should be the narrative because the Dolphins have not beat the teams that they should. But I also will take them losing to the reigning Super Bowl champion, the NFC Championship champion, and a team in the Bills that people have said are contenders for multiple years. If those are the losses, if that's what makes my team fraudulent, so fucking be it. But the reason I will tell you that I don't think the Dolphins are frauds, I actually think calling the Dolphins frauds is a fraudulent take.
Oh, yeah?
And I'll tell you why.
You just flipped the stone on the head. Give me a second. Give me a one for that.
The stone on the head.
I flipped the script.
I flipped the script. No. He uncovered
calling the
stone
Dolphins
and
frauds
turned it over.
is a fraudulent take. It's a lazy take. It's a narrative that's been based on these wins and losses. Because coming into the league,
you literally just said it's a win-loss league.
Listen to me.
So I'm basing this off wins and losses.
Listen to me. Coming into this year, every single Dolphins fan, the reason that I put them into the contender category, the reason everyone would say they are a contender is not because of the offense. We saw what the offense did last year. It's the defense. And in those two losses, which I agree, the Bills one was bad. In those two losses, you didn't have a defense that you paid for. The Jalen Ramsey aspect, the Vic Fangio, you didn't get to unleash anyone else. Well, yesterday you got the healthiest defense you've had. And what happened? The Chiefs had their lowest total yards per game and their lowest passing yards per game since 2020. Travis Kelce had 3 receptions. You know what happened? They scored 0 points in the second half. Now, granted, if the Dolphins got blown out, I would have 100% agreed with you. But the fact that the Dolphins in the second half were a team that responded, got back to the run, I don't think the Dolphins are frauds. Okay? I'd rather them learn from these mistakes. I'd rather them lose to these good teams. It's a measuring stick game, and they're not there yet, but they're going to get healthy at the right time. And I'll take my chance with the Dolphins.
Butt in, please.
His point still is valid, though. You still haven't beat a good team.
I agree. Matter. That should be the narrative. And until they prove otherwise,
that's exactly
fair.
why I'm saying that you guys are frauds because we were calling you guys 5-0, whatever you guys were. What was it? Whatever your guys' record was, everyone's like, oh, Super Bowl contenders.
Like, the Dolphins never. It's not like the Dolphins ever had the number one odds to.
You guys were literally the number one power rankings like 3 weeks ago.
And power rankings fucking move up and down. I'm not saying
you guys are number one.
I'm not saying that the Dolphins are the best team in the NFL. I'm not saying
people have said that.
Bro, people have all said the Niners are and they lose. People said the Cowboys. Like, this goes up and down.
Matan.
Like,
Matan's face is so funny.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are going to be fine. I get it. That should be the narrative right now because they haven't beat teams. And until they do otherwise, you can keep saying that. I'm just telling you
they'll be
that
fine,
the Dolphins
but they won't win a playoff game because they can't beat a team that's actually worth a shit.
Okay. So then
that means you're not fine because at the end of the day, the reason you play these games and want to win these games is to put yourself in a playoff position and go win in the playoffs. And the Dolphins are still in a position to host a game in the first round. Win. And he's saying they're not going to even go win, which I understand because they haven't beat a good team. You can't.
That's fair.
There's more reason to believe that the Dolphins will fall flat on their face in the playoffs because they're going to face a good team than otherwise. Then they're going to go in the playoffs.
But there's an entire second.
Well
there's an entire second half of the season.
Yes, but we're in week 10.
Talking about it right now.
We're in week 10 right
We
now.
haven't seen the second half yet.
And I'm saying right now, I believe
conversation is right now. The Dolphins are frauds right now.
Okay, and I think the Dolphins are not frauds because they are now getting healthy and the defense is getting healthy. And that was the first game you got to see the defense. The reason everyone was saying that the Dolphins are contenders before the season, the reason I bet on them, the reason I was overly confident, and I saw an offense perform, and now I saw a defense perform.
Can I butt on that too? Like you're like, oh, like the defense finally healthy. Great, good for you. It's not like the Chiefs have been world beaters on offense this year. Let's be completely honest about that.
Not at all.
They have not.
The
Chiefs are winning right now because they have a top 3 defense in the league, and that top 3 defense made your offense. That's the best offense we've ever seen. Y'all put up 14 points.
But the Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes.
That doesn't matter though. Their offense this year has not been that.
Well, they couldn't score against the Broncos.
I don't disagree with you. The Dolphins
also you have Patrick Mahomes and you have him throw 150
I agree with you. The narrative the narrative should be that the Dolphins can't beat good teams. I get it. I'm just saying I think the Dolphins are going to be fine. That was a good measuring stick game. The Dolphins responded in the second half. The Dolphins had a chance to go down there and tie it. They didn't. I'm fine going into the bottom. That's it. I don't think the Dolphins are frauds.
I think we need to move soon to the next topic, but I would just say this.
I have thoughts.
Tom's
got thoughts.
Real quick, just off of that, the Chiefs were up 21-0, right?
Yeah.
And then it's going the second half, and they still won. The game script changes based off of the scores and how the game goes and what have you.
What have you?
As Jack likes to say, if you will. And so, like, dude, if the Chiefs were losing in the first half, I guarantee you they would have scored in the second half, right? Like, they would have scored. They would have had to. They're not going to get held scoreless in the second half if they're up or if they're in a position to need to score. And so, like, the whole thing, the Dolphins held the Chiefs to a lower point total, whatever, or yards total. I can't really buy that. They're up 21-0.
The reason I'm going to buy it is because my whole argument is rooted in the fact that the defense got healthy. And it was the first game, whether they gave up 21 or not, that over the course of the game, they gave up the least amount of yards from Patrick Mahomes and total yards since 2020. So I feel confident to say that over the second half of the season, I think the Dolphins will be a better team than what we've seen.
Scott Angle in the comments is saying the Dolphins are not frauds if you view them as what they are, a playoff team and not a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, okay.
That's fair.
Like your argument is based off of just wins and losses, and I think it goes deeper than that. I get that they need to disprove the fact that they need to beat good teams. Absolutely. They need to go into the playoffs and beat good teams. But I think over the next half of the year, we see a lot of teams change. You can get hot at the right time. The Bengals are getting hot right now. Last year.
But we don't know that. That's hypothetical. We're just based off of right now. He's saying they're frauds, and that's all we have to see.
Can I get my thoughts now?
No.
The Dolphins are totally fine.
Thank you.
They're also our frauds.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like both the other way.
They're still a top 7 team. They're a top half team. They're still a top half team, and there's nothing to be worried about because
I agree.
Yes, they were way too high on the power rankings early on, therefore making them fraudulent.
I don't think they were way too high. The offense was fucking cooking. That's how power rankings work.
But ultimately, in the NFL, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to beat all the bad teams, which they have done successfusly, and they will continue to do.
And you also have to beat the good teams.
Eventually, you do.
Eventually, you do. Right now, you don't need to. Right now, it's for people like me and you to argue.
Continue to beat up on the bad teams.
Are important, bro.
If like you're saying when you guys play the Chiefs, the Eagle, that's not an important.
No, it's a measuring.
Was a measuring stick game. It's like that's dangerous.
And I just said it's a measuring stick game. And I think what I saw over the second half of the game makes me feel confident as a Dolphins fan over the second half of the season.
You got a moral victory.
Absolutely.
If you lose to the bad teams, you are even more fraudulent than you were before. The thing that Jack is trying to say is we thought that they could beat all the good teams. We thought they were that good. We thought they could go.
Well, we just lost to 3 of the best teams.
We thought they had Super Bowl aspirations based on the things that we've seen now against them going up against 3 of the top 3 teams, top 5 teams in the Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills, or whoever it was. Now we know they can't beat those teams, right? Like maybe they can one day. You're right, every given Sunday, but they haven't done it yet. So there's nothing to prove that we can say that they can do it.
I agree. I also think the Dolphins
got to beat the bad teams. Continue to beat the
bad. I disagree with that though. I think great teams play down to competition, and they're more likely to lose a game. It's worse to lose to a bad team. It's worse to lose in a game against a good team where that's a measuring stick game than it is to lose to a bad team and it's in a position where you just got caught.
But you also want to see if look again, and I said it, if the Dolphins went out and got blown out by the Chiefs, like if 21-0 and they happen to be at 28-7, I would totally agree with you. And I would say Dolphins are frauds. But because of what happened and how they responded in the second half, you're like, all right, you learned from your 3 losses Against the Bills, blowout. That was bad. Against the Eagles, it was a one-score game with 5 minutes left to play. And what happens? You're in a hostile environment and it's close. What happens in Kansas City and going against the Chiefs? It's a close game. It's a one-score game.
Level 2 noob.
A minute left.
Your boy level 2 noob says, don't do the moral victory argument. That's what losing teams fans do.
This is not a moral fucking victory argument.
This is we've been talking about the Dolphins for 15 minutes.
I like it though. It's so entertaining.
This is not a moral. What I'm trying to say to you is that I don't like calling the Dolphins frauds is a lazy fucking take. There's a lot of context there because you're just saying they lost to a bad team or lost to a good team.
Adam.
This shit is stupid,
over, bro. It's over, bro. He said it. He
believes
it.
He
said it. He believes it.
Statistical tape.
Yeah, I agree with it as well.
Okay, but
this is the first time I've pulled up like stats in a long time. That is not lazy. Don't call me lazy. I pulled up stats. I never do that.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I think until otherwise, that should be the take. I'm just saying, if you as a Cowboys fan can disprove a lot of things that people say in the media because you're a Cowboys fan and know more about the team, if you're a Niners fan, it can disprove a lot of things that people say about Brock Purdy because people are running with lazy shit. If you're a Giants fan, it can do the same. I'm a Dolphins fan and can do the same. It goes deeper than wins and losses. That's all I'm trying to say.
Wins and losses will count most, brother.
Okay, and I'll take my chances when we get later on in the season.
All right.
I will still be cheering for the porpoises.
Point stands. You're standing on what could happen in the future. He's standing on what just happened. And so right now he's right because of what just happened. We don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
Can we talk
Dolphins
about other
frauds.
games? Can we talk about other games? Yeah. I'm going to clip that. Sure. He said, sure, Dolphins are frauds. All right. Let's talk about the Ravens-Seahawks game. What's an overreaction we can take away from that Ravens-Seahawks game?
Ravens have the best defense in the NFL?
Yeah, but that's a boring one.
Okay. Sorry.
Overreaction, the Seahawks suck.
Geno Smith sucks. The Seahawks suck.
Geno Smith sucks, yeah.
They beat the Lions somehow. Good for them. Who the fuck else did they beat this year?
The Seahawks? They have some good wins. They haven't blown anybody out.
Now that I'm pulling up stats, let's look up.
We talking Lions frauds?
I will say this.
No. We're talking Seahawks.
Seahawks frauds?
I will say this. Overreacting is to say that the Seahawks aren't good. I know Jack's pulling up stats right now.
Hey, I'd never do this. Let me do this, bro.
Bring it up.
What are we talking
about? All right.
Seahawks, Ravens.
The Seahawks this year
Seahawks and
have lost to the Rams at home 30-13. Then they beat the Lions in Detroit in overtime. Good win. Then they beat the Panthers 37-27. Remember, that game was very close. The Panthers should have never been in that one. That was the Andy Dalton-led Panthers. Then they beat the Giants. Great win, 24-3. Then they lost to the Bengals, 17-13. Then they beat the Seahawks by 10.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
And then the
Seahawks beat the Seahawks?
They beat the Cardinals by 10.
Okay.
And then they beat the Browns by 4. Good win. Browns are decent. And then they lose by 34 to the Ravens.
So they're like weird. They've had some good. The Browns
They've had some good wins.
Is a really good.
The Browns win is a good win. The rest,
I will say this though: to overreact and say that the Seahawks suck, Geno sucks, time to go to Drew Lock. That's completely you're overreacting. They're still a good team who's had some good wins and also have had some bad losses. So they have to figure it out. They're definitely in they're
a wild card team.
They're in the trenches there in the NFC.
Yeah.
Could win a wild card game even. But I think the reason it's an overreaction to go all that way is because you have to consider how good the Ravens are, man. Week after week, they're blowing teams out. That's what Lamar not even having to do much. I think he had like 230-something total yards.
I know he's
no passing touchdowns. He's literally chilling. We haven't seen Lamar have to turn it up aside from like 1 week where he went crazy. This Ravens team is legit. The defense is legit. They might not be the best defense in the league, like you said.
They might be, though.
But they could be.
Kind of with
and then the offense is absolutely ridiculous, man. Like Mark Andrews was looking good. The receivers are looking good all around, except for OBJ, palming the ball, like whatever the fuck he does.
You said we got to give credit to how good the Ravens are, right?
Yes.
We don't give credit to the Chiefs, Eagles being that good. I'm just saying.
What?
Talking about the Dolphins before. We don't give credit to how good those teams are.
We do. They're
the Ravens have the highest point differential.
I agree with you. The Ravens are a good team. Bro, I think that's a totally fair argument.
We can all consensus say that the Eagles and Chiefs are the 2 best teams in football.
And yet they're being called fraud for losing to them. That's like
what?
No one's calling them
the Dolphins.
No, it's because you've lost to multiple
every team above 500 you have lost.
Dude, we're not talking about the Dolphins.
I'm just saying. I'm bringing up. We're making the same
argument. We're not talking.
You guys also lost the Bills.
We're talking about the Ravens.
You say it's like fraudulent shit. It's not that good.
I still don't think the Bills are frauds.
You were just talking shit about them like 5 minutes before you came on.
I asked, are the Bills frauds? We'll get into the Bills.
But yeah, the Ravens have the highest point differential in the league. It's at plus 115 right now.
Way too much.
We need a synonym.
Yeah. The next highest point differential is the Bills at plus 80. All right, so plus 115 for the Ravens. They're literally smoking teams. Yeah. The argument from this podcast a few weeks ago was that, they don't have decisive wins like that. I mean, they're smoking every team they play. Whether Lamar has a great passer rating, QBR, whatever, he doesn't need to because they're winning by 30 points, right?
Yeah,
so we have to put that in perspective. It's insane.
I think it's great. Baltimore has played 3 teams this season that entered the game with a winning record. They've beaten the fuck out of them. They've outscored those in those games. They've outscored them 103-12
against teams with winning records.
With winning records,
does that matter?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's his argument.
And I give credit. I think the Ravens. I'll say the Ravens are a better team than the Dolphins right now.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty consensus.
Yeah, I think it's. No, I think you make a great point.
I'm saying there's more context below the surface.
If you're going
to
use the winning records argument for this, you gotta that's just saying. Anyway,
it's a good point. It's a good argument.
The Ravens defense, though, especially since Marlon Humphrey came back, is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, they've been crazy.
That secondary is insane. Patrick Queen.
They lead the NFL in fewest points allowed per game.
Every single level of that defense has an All-Pro player.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Kyle Van Noy's even looking good.
Oh my God. He's always been pretty good, but he looks insane.
They got Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. That's an insane line.
The last time Baltimore led the NFL in fewest points allowed per game, it was in 2000. And
that Super Bowl
that was a historic defense.
And that was a team. Who was their fucking quarterback again?
Fucking Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer was their quarterback. If you have a defense like that and you got Lamar Jackson, bro, you're winning the Super Bowl.
I think,
and their offense, by the way, hasn't even been as dominant as
Bars 666. Shout out Bars. Said the Ravens are the best team in the league, and I'm an Eagles fan. Yeah, I think right now you could probably say the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. Just who they
say that. Yeah. I wouldn't stand on that just because. I mean, the Eagles only have 1 loss. The Ravens have 2.
I said, have the Ravens played any elite teams yet? I don't.
Okay, the Seahawks are good though, right? The Seahawks beat a good
Lions was a good win.
Lions is a good win, but it's not a great win.
It's not just winning; they're destroying teams.
Yeah.
All right, they were destroying the Cardinals last week. The Cardinals got 2 touchdown garbage time, so they would have beat them by multiple. Yeah. They beat the Lions 38-6.
That's a good win on the road in Detroit.
They beat the Browns 28-3.
28-3, right? They beat the Bengals, who, we know they weren't at their prime at that point yet. The Texans, they beat them 25-9.
The Texans aren't bad.
The Texans are playing so they have.
Well, based off of a power ranking, you'd probably say, because power rankings move so often, you'd probably say that they're the best team in the AFC right now, potentially.
Potentially, it's them or the Chiefs.
Yeah,
or the Bengals, honestly, at this point. But
just
because they're hot.
Well, I just think the Ravens, if we're going the win-loss argument, then the Ravens have better wins than the Chiefs right now.
So then you could say Eagles,
and then Ravens, then Chiefs, probably
something like that.
I don't know. There's so much parity right now.
But that's what comes back to, right? And I'm not trying to bring it back to the Dolphins. Just hear me out. If we want to say the Dolphins are frauds, and 99% of the league is fraudulent because there's only one team that's been winning the games that they're supposed to, and that's the Eagles, right? They're the best team in the NFL right now. But then the Ravens are going to lose some games. They're going to win great games as well. The Niners are going to lose games that they should have won. The Cowboys are going to lose games that they should have won. This is what's happening. It's a week-to-week type of league, and anything can happen this year. This is maybe you're more of a historian. So have we seen an NFL like this type of year where there could be 7 to 8 teams that could really make a run in the NFL?
I'm sure there's been some years. I'm 2003. There was actually 8 teams.
Well, I'm just saying. I can't remember a time where there hasn't been a decisive number one.
I understand what you're saying.
Even the Eagles have the best record, I still don't feel like they are decidedly the best team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because even with the Cowboys loss, I think that Cowboys loss is the best that they've looked all year.
Yeah.
I want to end this fucking stupid argument, but to your point, bro, they haven't beaten a above 500 team. All of those other teams you're talking about have.
They've also lost, but they don't have a trend like
bad teams.
Of course they have. I'm just saying, but we're talking about winning here. Your team has not beaten.
But why can we only talk about team? But why is it fair to only talk about wins and not losses? But why is it fair to only talk wins and not losses?
Because they have both. You have one.
Okay.
You have only lost to the above 500 teams. They have both lost and they have won.
I think
which puts them above. That's just fucking math, bro. I know you failed math, but we gotta not.
Did you 3 times?
This argument is stupid.
Wow.
So the Ravens top 3 team in the league
right now. Yeah, probably.
Well, let's talk about the Bills-Bengals game also, because I know you came out of this thinking that the Bengals might still be maybe the best team in the AFC.
Yeah,
AFC. Are they the best team in the AFC, Jack?
Wow, that was something.
Yeah.
No, right now I think the Bengals are the best team in the AFC. They're hot as hell. Joe Burrow, since that calf is recovered, is looking insane right now. He looks unstoppable. I don't know why I said that so unstoppable. But no, there's something about this Bengals team right now. Cam Taylor-Britt is playing one of the best safeties in the league, and no one's talking about him whatsoever. Logan Wilson and Justin Pratt, that's an insane duo at linebacker.
They're nasty.
Trey Hendrickson,
Trey Hendrickson and Hubbard are great off the edge. You got DJ Reed. like people don't talk about that defense in Cincy enough, first of all. But now this offense is clicking and gelling with Joe Burrow back healthy. I don't think there's any team right now better than the Bengals in the AFC. And I think people were writing them off early because, oh, maybe Joe, he doesn't look that good, blah, blah, all this shit. Stop. Like,
so how many teams are better in the NFL?
In the NFL?
Are the Niners better than them?
You're saying how
because
many?
They just
clearly
played.
Because we just lost to them. So the Niners aren't better. I think the only team that you can say, in my opinion, the only team that's better than the Bengals right now is the Eagles. And that's solely based off of the records.
Well, what about the Chiefs and the Ravens that we were just talking about?
Chiefs and the Ravens aren't
But
better than the
if it's
Bengals.
off the records,
but the Ravens beat the
but if
Bengals,
it's
right?
off the records,
The Ravens
how
beat the
can we do?
Bengals.
Yeah, how can we go off of that? They're 4-3.
The Ravens beat the
5-3
Bengals
or
when Joe Burrow was
They're
hurt with his
5-3
calf
now.
and everything like that.
Right, but
So he's basing it off of
I'm
Joe
basing-
Burrow is healthy now, and the way
bring up
they've been
injuries
playing
now?
the past like
Yes,
3
Joe
weeks.
Burrow is healthy. He is back. The way that they've been playing the last few weeks, they just beat the Bills and Niners by double digits in back-to-back weeks.
no, I agree. I think the Bengals.
Or no, Bills almost by double digits. They could have beat by double digits, but like they just dominated the Bills and Niners in back-to-back weeks, and you have to give respect to that. That's what beating good teams dominant fashion does for you.
I agree. Hey, Bengals are a more experienced team than the fucking Dolphins.
Yeah.
We're not going to
You guys
go
will
that
get there.
down.
You guys will get there. No
We'll
doubt
get
about
there.
it.
I'm not going down that
Oh,
route.
that's so cute.
But the only reason I can see the Eagles, the only reason I'm saying the Eagles are the only team better than the Bengals right now is the fact that they only have one loss. They're 8-1.
So if you
How can you go against that? You can't.
So if you had to
They've
pick a Super Bowl
beaten all
matchup
the
right
kinds of
now,
teams,
you
good
would
and
say
bad.
if
If I had to say who's going to play in the Super Bowl right now, I would say, because I'm biased as fuck, Niners Bengals.
Oh,
I still think the Niners are a better team when they're clicking on all cylinders than the Eagles are.
And they're fully healthy.
Cylinders clicking.
Yeah, and the Bengals, in my opinion, are the same way. Depends who gets hot at the right time, injuries and shit. But the Niners and Bengals are the two
Injuries.
deepest teams in each of their conferences.
Do not bring it up again. I swear.
Shut
to
the
fucking
fuck
God.
up.
Bring it
I
up.
swear
Please
to
bring it up.
fucking
Adam, bring it
God.
up. Bring it up.
Injuries.
I'm gonna
Well, we
kick
just
you
got
out the
Jalen
pod.
Ramsey back finally. Taron Armstead has been hurt for a lot of the year, actually. But what else you want to say?
It's fair. There's hypocrisy in many different
The
arguments.
Niners have lost these
Such a
games.
good word.
The Niners have lost these games too, though. When we have Trent
Again,
Williams and Debo out.
Week to week league, brother.
That's why we do this show, brother.
I know, and I love it. That's why I want to argue. Like, I think it's more. I think the reaction from Bengals Bills is rooted more so in what the Bills are than the Bengals
I
are,
agree.
if that makes sense. Because
Explain.
the Bills lose Leslie Frazier in the offseason.
Mhm.
Leslie Frazier was their defensive coordinator. Sean McDermott, a defensive.
Sounds lovely.
He walks away.
It's a great name, Leslie Frazier.
You lose Trey White. Von Miller was out for an extended period of time. Matt Milano now done for the year. Tremaine Edmonds is gone. Like the
bangs.
defense has not been at all what you would have expected it to be in Buffalo, and that's why I think Buffalo's losing games. Like Buffalo, I'm not going to say that the Bills are frauds because
I know Buffalo is losing games.
they're
What?
all, yeah.
Never mind.
Yep.
Never mind.
No, I see you're trying to bring it back to the Dolphins. It wasn't me
Said
doing
the
it this
words,
time.
I think Buffalo's losing games, and whatever. It was stupid. It didn't.
Anyway.
It didn't land at all.
I
was like, I know
don't think-
Buffalo's
I
losing
think I think the Bills are a wild card team. I don't think
Yeah.
the Bills are set up to make a deep Super Bowl run. I don't think the Bills are like Bills had maybe top 3 odds to make it out of the AFC this year coming into the season.
Yeah.
And I think like on paper that would
top
make
2.
sense, but they're not playing like it at all. And I think the only reason you would probably put them back in that category would be because of Josh Allen. But I think I learned more about the Bills in that game than I did.
You're
about
saying that the
Bengals.
Bills are worse than people think, and that game proved it.
Wait, you learned more about the Bills that game than the Bengals?
Yeah, because
You watched Joe Burrow?
Yeah, bro, we've known.
But
If
yeah,
they're
we
healthy,
know Joe
we've
Burrow.
known
We
that
know
this
Joe
is what
Burrow.
this
But I'm saying
Bengals
from
team
He's
is.
awesome.
We said it
It's
last
a
year.
stark
If-
comparison what we saw from earlier this year, though.
Yeah.
So now that we
100%,
know that Joe Burrow's
100%.
healthy,
But even
fucking
last week, we said the Bengals are back.
But credit to us for not overreacting to the Bengals early on, like which we love to do and love to shit on them. But no, we didn't. We didn't allow.
We
ourselves
always
to.
said
We didn't overreact.
we
that. didn't
always
overreact.
said the Bengals will be fine.
Yeah,
we
we
always
did-
said
we
the
did all
Bengals will be
say that.
fine. We would
Couple
shit
people
on the
were a
Josh
little
Allen
low.
versus Joe Burrow comparison.
We were
Bring back-
low
we
on
can
the. We
pull
were
back
low
the
on the
episode. We
Bengals.
said
Yeah,
they're
we
gonna
No
be
one ever said the Bengals
I
were
wanted
going to
to
be out of
say
it.
it because it's hilarious and fun to fucking overreact.
Yeah,
but we were credit to
The
us.
only conversation was about who would you rather have, Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. And at that moment,
that
it was
will
like,
always-
okay, very clearly
that will
Josh Allen.
always
Right now,
like
what do you
that.
think?
I
I'll
think I
still
would.
take Josh.
I would rather
Really?
have Joe Burrow after the
Scenarios
last
are
few
everything.
weeks.
I think the Bills are a fucking terrible scenario right now. They have no running game. There's no one. Thank God for Dalton
Situation.
Kincaid, dynasty, and tight ends. But
Okay,
outside of Kincaid
dynasty,
and Stephon Diggs, they have no one. Like Khalil Shakira is their fucking wide receiver too. Gabe Davis looks terrible. Like they just have no identity. And their identity at one point was defensively, and they don't have that anymore. So because you lose
Yeah.
Matt Milano, Trey White, Von Miller is not playing well. Like they don't look good. The Bills don't look good. So I learned more from the Bills than I did about the Bengals.
Yesterday, though, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but Josh had a pick in every single game this year.
Okay, that's something to think about.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. But I'm not going to take it by turnovers, bro. Turnovers don't. I don't care.
I think when they're both playing at their peak, Joe Burrow is the better quarterback by it.
Oh, no,
it's not a good margin.
No,
I think it's a toss-up. I agree with you. In a vacuum, if I'm starting a brand new team, I'll take Josh Allen. I think he's the better quarterback. Burrow's in a better situation right now. He's playing better. So
yes.
Burrow's hotter right now.
But it's also been two.
Back to the Bengals as a whole, though,
like,
I was thinking, on paper, do the Bengals have the most depth in the AFC? I feel like they're the deepest team in the AFC right now.
No,
one of them.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Who's deep?
I need to
because on defense, they're like every level on defense has stud players that just no one talks about because they're in Cincinnati.
We just talked about the
Ravens. I feel like the Browns could be in there. Baltimore can be in there. The Chiefs can be in there.
Deep, I don't think.
Baltimore. I mean, I can't go off the papers.
Because the skill on offense.
But again, like the Bengals, they've had 2 massive weeks. I get it. But let's also not forget, and I know Joe Burrow was injured, but that defense was also suspect to start the season.
Because the offense can move the ball. They're on the field like 7
But again, so I get it if you want to say Joe Burrow's been playing better right now. He's been been playing better over the last 3 games. But let's look at the course of the season. The NFL is going to go like that. Right now, the Bengals are better. I think I learned more about the Bills than I did about the Bengals.
I fully agree. From this week, 100%. Last week, we said the Bengals were back.
Yeah, we did.
We knew the Bengals were going to come out playing great.
2 really good teams back-to-back weeks is insanely impressive.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Jack. We're saying the exact same shit. We knew the Bengals were back. He's saying, I didn't learn anything because I already knew that the Bengals were that good.
Yeah. We all picked
They came in and they played
Bengals.
that good. Yeah. The Bills, we thought, would come in and play that good. What we learned is that they're not actually as good as we thought.
But
that's
we all picked the Bengals. And
so we're saying the exact same thing. We're just looking at it from opposite angles.
We all picked the Bengals. The only reason he took the Bills was because he was like, this is a spot for me to get an extra game.
100%.
He wanted to take the Bengals. I knew the Bengals were going to win this fine. Game.
I thought and exactly what you said. I thought the Bills would come out and play like a top 5, like a top 3 team. They did not.
Yeah.
They shut down Josh Allen. He didn't play well.
The defense, yeah.
But that's what people have to start giving the Bengals defense more respect
Absolutely.
as well.
100%.
No one is
disputing you on that.
People talk about the Bengals. No one ever talks about their defense.
I actually totally disagree because every time we brought up the Bengals run, in the playoffs and their Super Bowl run, it was because the
you
defense.
Guys do that.
That's the number one reason we shit on Joe Burrow.
I don't know. You guys do that, but also no one else that when you talk about the Bengals ever brings up Anarumo.
It's a hard name. It's a hard name.
If the Bengals
and that defense though, no one ever talks
about. If the
Bengals
Bengals are to win a Super Bowl, as much as I love Joe Burrow, it's not because of Joe Burrow. It's because of that defense. And that's amazing because they have an elite quarterback that's going to win fucking games. But that defense is overperforming.
Based on what we've seen, I agree with you. But I think that Joe Burrow can step up if needed.
Yeah, you think
no, that's not what. Hold on.
It's because of the defense.
No, it's not. No, hold on.
I think that's what you said.
I'm not saying Joe Burrow's not going to be the reason they could, he's an elite fucking quarterback. He's one of the best in the NFL. I'm just saying, if the Bengals are to win the Super Bowl, it's likely because that defense is playing up to the level that they've played over the last 2 years.
We saw a Super Bowl winner without a good defense.
Yeah.
But that's my point.
No,
They're stepping
up.
up.
That's not
Mahomes didn't have an excellent defense.
This is the best defense the Chiefs have had. But yeah.
No, they did a good defense last year. Underrated defense.
I said excellent though.
Oh, excellent. Sorry.
Thanks.
Good point.
I will say though, I do agree with you. I think the Bengals might be the deepest team in the AFC. The only team that's potentially close is the Ravens, and that's going to be fun. They play each other in 2 weeks.
That's
get your popcorn.
We're going to learn a lot about the
AFC. Get your fucking popcorn ready.
Thank you, Scott, the king.
Why on what?
Let's move into
I want to see
probably on the Bengals being deep and shit.
Yeah. Let's move into some other games.
About the depth on all these teams.
I'm basically that's my AFC.
There were a couple of incredible underdog quarterback performances yesterday. We'll talk about first the new guy in town.
New guy
in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Josh Dobbs.
Oh.
Josh fucking Dobbs. We'll get to DeVito. Don't you worry.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we don't have to.
I don't really
want to. Oh, we will.
Regardless of wins and losses, Josh Dobbs should be the MVP this year. Just for three different teams.
Go ahead. What's your intro?
I was just going to say, let's talk about that Vikings game. Vikings-Falcons. Josh Dobbs comes in, gets the win.
He's him.
Never took a single snap in practice with those guys. He said in his presser that he didn't even know everyone's full name.
Josh Dobbs winning this game is the most impressive quarterback feat I've ever seen in my life.
Probably.
Actually, it's
he doesn't know one single fucking play. He doesn't know. He probably knows 5 guys.
Bro, there was a video of him teaching the offensive lineman his cadence on the sideline before he went in.
You could make that argument
taken a snap
for his entire year this year. He got traded week 1, like days before it felt like, or at least 10 days before. To the Cardinals, goes out, and the Cardinals didn't win games, but they were competitive.
They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys.
They were competitive. Josh Dobbs, I want to give him the MVP this year.
Dallas has helped Josh Dobbs' career.
Dude, you saw, bring it back to yesterday, though, too. It's actually fucking crazy. They were interviewing Jordan Addison after the game, so what'd you guys do? And I was like, Yeah, we basically told him exactly the routes we're gonna run. Like he's like, oh, like what's he doing on the backside? Like, oh, he has a dig on the backside, and then he just played backyard football.
You know, which is
fucking awesome.
And he won an NFL game. That's
against Atlanta on the road.
Yeah.
Like,
what do we call Josh Dobbs' performance yesterday? Pure Hooper hours.
Damn right.
He was
doing out on Josh Dobbs.
Why? I love it, bro. Shout out alopecia.
Josh Dobbs better than Kirk Cousins for Minnesota, we think?
Fuck no.
I mean,
dude,
honestly, I don't think it's that big of a difference.
I don't think. Oh, I think
between
it's
Dobbs and Kirk.
Kirk
is so much. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. Josh Dobbs has the intangibles.
Kirk has had an amazing offense to work with his whole career in Minnesota.
I'm not gonna,
Dobbs was cooking in Arizona with nobody. I know
Kirk was cooking with nobody too.
But let me just try to. But that's the point. Let me try and entertain this argument. Let me try and entertain this argument though, because I like it. It's interesting. If Josh Dobbs had more of a support system around him, is he putting up the same type of numbers as Kirk did?
No question.
I agree.
He's a better athlete.
He's a better athlete.
I'm not saying it. I'm just throwing it out there. I want to entertain it.
In today's day and age, he's more fit for the league than Kirk is. And look,
he could scramble.
Honestly, what we've seen, he's nearly as good a passer. I don't have the advanced analytics passing wise.
Kondo, come in here.
But come on, dude.
Josh
Dobbs is
Kondo. Producer Kondo is in absolute shambles right now. He's a Kirk guy. Talk.
I'm a huge Kirk guy.
I like Kirk too. I've always been a Kirk guy.
He was putting up MVP numbers, but as good as anybody in the league before he got hurt. As good as Tua, as good as any quarterback.
He just had the touchdowns and the yards, but sure.
Yeah, touchdowns and yards. What else did they really?
That's like a huge.
Hey, Adam, those are the stats.
Measuring stick for
what else did they base MVP off of? I love Josh Dobbs.
Wins and losses.
Much to the next guy.
Wins and losses.
Now the wins and losses matter.
He's gonna get into the playoffs. Josh Dobbs gets into the playoffs. But I agree. He might be in the MVP consideration.
But that's Felipe's point, is that Kirk Cousins in this offense was putting up incredible numbers. So if you put Josh Dobbs in a similar system, can he put up those numbers? Felipe's point is, I think so.
I think so.
Like, I think, if anything, I'm just entertaining it. I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Josh Dobbs.
It's very entertaining, I have to say.
Fucking question about it.
I don't say it's week to week type of fucking league, but like, dude, let's slow our roll.
I don't think it's Kirk Cousins, when it gets to like the prime situation at the end of games, we know he can't.
What have you ever seen Josh Dobbs in prime time in general?
We haven't.
Kirk Cousins led the most. On potential. Kirk Cousins led the most comeback wins in the last like 3 or 4 years in the fucking league.
I hate to be the guy that's you continuing to use our logic against us. But Brock Purdy, you really jumped the gun on saying he was going to be incredible after just winning a few games.
Same 14 in a row.
I'm just saying, same fucking shit. This guy, Josh Dobbs, comes in and wins games.
Josh Dobbs would have won the Super Bowl in San Francisco last year.
Now, like, I'm just trying to say. I'm not even going to
entertain this stupid fucking conversation.
We got to slow the roll. I think saying not Brock Purdy. I hate to bring him into this. He did nothing wrong. Josh Dobbs, I think it's agreed. It's ridiculous to even say that MVP is in the conversation.
I'm not saying MVP.
But the value that Josh Dobbs has brought to his team right now is very high. He's high value.
Brother.
Most
and the
valuable
MVP
player.
most valuable player of the league, because he's gone to 3 different franchises and helped 3 different franchises out be somewhat competitive. Josh Dobbs and alopecia deserve the MVP.
I know.
Amen.
Fuck it.
Amen,
I know
baby.
what Kirk Cousins is, but I already know what Kirk Cousins is. With Josh Dobbs, he's been balling. No, we don't know what Josh Dobbs is.
Bro, he has not been balling this year.
He hasn't even been given a situation of
people are just impressed that he played better than expected in Arizona, but he was not balling by any means.
You know, he had bad games.
Let's be completely honest.
He was balling with a horrible team. With a horrible team. His team was the worst roster.
One fucking game.
Aside from the Giants, he had the worst roster in football.
Bro, if he was that good, he would have actually won more than one fucking game in Arizona.
It's about your team, bro. It's about your team. We talk about the Bengals winning, Joe Burrow winning because he has a great team. You just said they have the deepest team in the league.
What are we arguing?
And the Bengals are winning
I want to jump in. What are we arguing?
We're talking about Josh Dobbs. I'm saying Josh Dobbs.
I'm all in on Josh Dobbs, but why are we?
I'm saying Josh Dobbs hasn't had the situation that Kirk
Cousins has
had
like
for the past 4 or 5 years.
Second coming to fucking Jesus Christ.
Because all we I want to see this comment. No comparisons.
Equals MVP.
That's our boy.
I'll split the beat.
Bro,
I'm right down the middle.
I agree. Kirk Cousins is better than Josh Dobbs so far, but I'm just saying we haven't seen Josh Dobbs in a situation that we've seen Kirk Cousins in for a substantial
Because
period
he's
of time.
not talented enough
Kirk
to be
Cousins
there.
has had Kevin O'Connell, good offensive coach. He's had Justin Jefferson. He's had Jordan Addison. He's had TJ Hawkins for multiple games. He's had Stephon Diggs. Bro, come on, do I have to keep going? Josh Dobbs hasn't had these guys. Now he's in a situation. All he has is Jordan Addison and Hawkinson, right? Doesn't even have Justin Jefferson yet. And he balled. He won. He won without knowing the offense, without knowing the
beat
guys.
Taylor Heineke.
Hey, relax.
Yo, he's got a sleeve. You said it.
No, he got half sleeve, not a full sleeve.
Bro,
I was talking about Tyson Bagent with the
I am just saying, we don't know what Josh Dobbs is to his full potential yet. We know exactly.
Well, no,
what Kirk
hold on. I don't
Cousins
give a
is.
fuck about that.
Josh Dobbs, we know who Josh Dobbs is. He's a career backup. He was on 5 teams
I
in
don't think
2
he's a career
fucking
backup
years
anymore.
because he sucks. He's had a great stretch this year, but he played like ass half of the season.
No, I agree.
He just outperformed his expectations. We all thought he was going to be by far the worst starting quarterback in the league, but when he was filling in for Kyler Murray.
Hold on.
Let's not act like he's better than Kirk, bro. Stop.
No, he's saying that. No one is saying that. We're just saying we got to take the idea that a player in a system can play
Why am I
well.
worked up over Josh Dobbs?
Yeah.
Bro, Dobbs is him.
Exactly.
No, I'm just saying
Josh
that.
Dobbs era has
I'm just
begun.
saying. I'm just saying. Snagler, vroom vroom, zippity doo dah.
I'm
just
just saying,
saying,
hospital, bro.
Jack, you just got to understand. Quarterbacks in good systems can play better. I think we got to give
no
credit.
shit.
We got to give.
I'm a
That's all
49ers
he's saying.
fan.
That's all he's saying. That's all
I'm
he's
saying
saying.
we haven't seen Dobbs' ceiling yet. I think. Okay, you said you have.
I don't give a fuck about
I don't
that.
think
Hold
we've
on.
seen his ceiling.
I don't-
No, I think his ceiling
care
could be
about his
Kirk
ceiling.
Cousins.
All right. One at a time, folks. We're talking.
No, hold up. Y'all forgot.
Fight.
Y'all forgot
Fight.
that this man Kirk Cousins was drafted in the same year that RG3 was drafted, and he was taken in like the fucking 6th or 7th round. He was supposed to be a career backup. Guess what? RG3 goes down. Kirk Cousins comes in and plays well. Is that not what Josh Dobbs is doing right now? If you give Josh Dobbs the next 5 years to develop in a good system, we're literally seeing Kirk Cousins' career play out. I'm saying that now we've seen Kirk Cousins' ceiling, and now it's time to see what Josh Dobbs can bring. It might be the same ceiling that Kirk Cousins has or higher. That's all I'm saying. Kirk Cousins came from a very similar situation. Thank you. Monologue over.
Jack, that was nice. Are you looking up, trying to find a stat, or?
No, I just saw Fernando Tatis quoted our MLB account. Because at the beginning of the year, I tweeted someone was like, "Oh, like whoever a Gold Glover in right field is exactly the opposite of what Fernando Tatis is. He just won the Gold Glove."
But my guy Tatis,
I just think, yeah, the system's everything, bro.
Shout out to.
All right, can we talk about another quarterback?
Can we just end this conversation by saying one thing? We're all very happy for Josh Dobbs.
Yeah,
Yo, shout out Josh Dobbs, bro.
Jack, clap it up.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, come on. Josh Dobbs' era has begun.
Let's
Skull,
fucking
baby.
go.
Can't wait.
Let's talk about CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Texans, Bucks, big fucking game for CJ Stroud. Historic game for CJ Stroud.
Absolutely.
We put up 5 tutties.
5 tutties,
400
480
plus.
yards or something like that.
Most passing yards for NFL rookie quarterback.
Ever.
Bro,
Ever.
he has more touchdowns in his career than Kenny Pickett.
I saw that.
And Kenny Pickett started playing last year, bro.
Well, we knew Kenny Pickett was ass.
We did.
Yeah, but he played all of last season, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
what I'm saying.
And then he also, there's only been 9 weeks so far.
Jack,
I think
wait, you got to lock back in, bro. You're the only one on this podcast that has a sense of what to
CJ
talk about
Stroud.
with football. So, because those are the comments,
The
right?
comments have been saying
Comments are
the
saying
guy
you're
on
the
the
only
far
one with
left
sense.
really knows what he's talking about.
So we need you active in these conversations.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
the only
Sorry.
one-
I was just
you're
like,
the only one that can talk ball.
I was just looking like for the fact that Fernando Tatis.
It's cool.
like,
That's
pretty-
cool.
No,
cool.
well, he was shitting on us, so now I feel bad because I love
Oh,
Tatis.
he was shitting on us?
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Well, because we gave him shit at the beginning of the season,
because
right?
we said you don't deserve a Golden Glove. And like, here he is with his high ass EPA, his high ass on base
WAR.
percentage, and
DVOA?
type shit, DVOA.
His
And
WAR was very high this year because of he was a great fielder.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
bring it to this Texans game, though. We're
CJ
trying to talk
Stroud?
about your boy CJ Stroud. What's an overreaction we could take away from this
Say it.
Texans game?
Say it.
CJ Stroud's a top 10 quarterback right
Fuck
now.
you!
Sure.
Juice him up.
No, I mean, like, legitimately, at some point, he's got, what does he have? 14 touchdowns, 1 interception this year. He just threw for 470 yards, 5 tutties. Like, they had 40 seconds left to go down and beat the Bucks. And he fucking did. He went 80 yards to win. It was crazy.
Hey, man.
That was
boy
it.
It was
Different.
nuts. I turned the fucking game off because I was like, God damn it. I got the Texans in this one. That's
The Bucks,
Let's piss,
right?
then
The
CJ
Bucks,
Stroud.
right.
Hell of a game.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, legitimately, how many quarterbacks do you take over CJ Stroud right now? I don't think you can name 10 better.
I probably could.
All right, name 10.
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
Hold
Joe
on.
Burrow,
I think there's
Lamar
a better
Jackson,
question than that, even.
Aaron Rodgers torn ACL. I mean, torn
Well, he's
Achilles.
not
So let's
playing.
not do that. Let's ask, how many quarterbacks would you take going forward, right? considering age and what you have for the next 10 years. There's very few I would take.
Very
few. And
Mahomes.
Let's the ones guaranteed you would take: Patrick Mahomes,
Burrow, Allen,
Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I think that's it.
Maybe Herbert, but
Trevor,
potentially Justin.
I'm going to take Herbert. I'm going to take Tua.
Trevor.
Well.
Thank you for bringing back those names. A 6.
I'm going to take Tua.
I'm not taking Tua.
I don't
because I've seen what he can do.
Better version of Tua.
He could be, but I've seen a decent
They're
sample size.
They're both guys that are very accurate passers in the league, right? That's kind of like their thing. But Stroud, I think,
Josh Dobbs.
I think Stroud has done more with.
Yes,
Stroud has done more with less around him right now.
Yes,
yeah.
Worse coaching,
but Tua also like his. We're gonna ignore the Tua talk, but first 2 years still had a winning record. Like, now it wasn't great performances, but like had arguably the worst supporting cast around.
I'm trying to think.
CJ Stroud has a better supporting cast around him right now than Tua did his first 2 years. So let's just not forget that.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
That's a fact. His leading receiver was Jakeem Grant. I don't want to hear.
Jakeem Grant's my favorite receiver ever.
I don't want to do that. Matt Collins, Dolphin legend.
Matt Collins kind of balling this year a little bit.
You're forgetting Mike Gesicki, the fucking legend,
pretty legend, Devontae Parker.
CJ Stroud is definitely he could be considered for quarterbacks we would take for the future. I agree, he might be in that top.
I
don't know if I put him though in my top 10 quarterbacks.
I still don't think.
Oh, we didn't say Jalen Hurts. I think I would take Stroud over Hurts though.
Really?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Because I
know
you would
take CJ Stroud over Jalen Hurts long term.
Long term.
Wow.
For one, he's younger. And
he's doing just the same.
Like 2 years.
He's a better
passer.
That's fine. He's a better passer. And so
he's doing a lot. He's doing just about as much with way less.
And so Hurts, we know what he can do in that amazing offense. The best offensive line in the league. The best receiving unit in the league, aside from maybe Cincy. You could say they're the best. We see what Jalen Hurts can do with that offense. I mean, what CJ Stroud is doing right now is with not that great of a supporting cast. I mean, Tank Dell's a rookie wide receiver looking like one of the best receivers in the league. I know Nico's looking good.
Oh, they got Noah Brown, though, Cowboy legend. You forgot about that.
Yeah, bro, he's making
Dalton Schultz, Cowboy legend.
Dalton Schultz, I always say he was a product of Dak Prescott. Well, CJ Stroud is making him look just as good.
He's a product of CJ Stroud.
Nico Collins is popping off. We've been talked about how Nico Collins has been an underperforming receiver for his whole career.
Well, he had 3 receptions for 54 yards yesterday. So
but this year he's having a great year.
He's been better, and Tank Dell's been great. I agree. I'm not going to go as far. I love overreacting. It's my favorite thing to do. I'm not going to go as far as saying I would take CJ Stroud over Jalen Hurts. He put up an MVP season, took him to the Super Bowl last year. Let's pump the brakes. Let's relax a little bit.
I understand.
All right, but Trevor Lawrence over the last 8 games last year was good. Trevor Lawrence over this first 9 weeks of the season has been incredibly inconsistent, has not been great. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Okay, but
I legitimately don't think there's 10 quarterbacks you could name that I would take over CJ Stroud right now. I don't think so.
I would say 10. I would say 10 right now.
Name 10. Just name quarterbacks and I'll tell you. We can count to 10.
Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Tua, Lamar Jackson.
He's not taking Tua.
I'm taking Stroud over Tua.
Why?
He's like I
just said. Talked about it.
He's done just as much or more with way less.
Okay,
and he's younger.
Jalen Hurts.
Iffy.
Justin Herbert.
No, I'm taking Hurts right now today. If we're doing
right now,
Hurts.
Yeah, sure.
Justin Herbert.
No.
Yeah,
makes too many mistakes. I'm not taking Herbert.
I might go Stroud.
Stroud's one reception on the year. We're about to go in week 10.
I'm still taking Dak.
Kirk Cousins.
You might not
Kirk
for the future.
Before he got hurt. Kirk Cousins before he got hurt.
I'm taking Stroud.
Before he got hurt.
I know what Kirk is. I'm taking Stroud.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not positive. That's like they're similar. I probably would take Kirk, but I'm not. I don't know.
Who am I missing? Anthony Richardson. Obviously, you take.
You're missing.
Fucking.
I don't know.
Trevor Lawrence. I might take Trevor Lawrence.
Trev, you got to take Trev. Come on.
Yeah.
John Elway.
But he's also been super inconsistent.
Right now.
Lamar Jackson.
Good point. Lamar Jackson. Yeah, I'll take Lamar.
All right.
Brock Purdy.
No.
You take Stroud?
Take a Stroud. Come on.
Yeah.
I just think
Gino.
Dak Prescott.
Fuck no.
Dak Prescott.
Dak. He balled yesterday. But I still think CJ Stroud doesn't make as many mistakes. I don't know. Like we're just scratching the floor with what this dude can do.
Which is why when I say going for the future, Stroud, I take him.
I'm with you.
Everyone's probably so mad at me right now in the fucking
I'm with you. CJ Stroud's been playing incredibly well, but let's just wait for the course of the season before saying you'll take him for the future.
Brother, we're halfway there.
Brother, last year, 8 games through, we were still talking about Trevor Lawrence's like fucking ceiling. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence had fucking as many turnovers as Josh Allen did.
Like Nico Ryan's coach of the year.
Oh, he's up there, man. He's balling.
I just think, I'm with you. CJ Stroud looks incredible. I think the Panthers are probably super upset looking at Bryce Young and the way he's been playing.
Yeah, but Bryce Young,
I think it's more about coaching.
#1 pick.
I don't know if he was. No, well, let me rephrase. He was, but I don't think. I think the situation is far worse, and I think it comes down to
exactly. Bryce Young's career is going to be over because he's in such a shitty situation.
No, Bryce Young still got time, bro. You don't need to be like
they are
that.
so fucking bad.
How would Stroud do on the Panthers? Probably way worse.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because Frank Reich, I don't think is a great offensive-minded head coach. They got no offensive line, no run game. Their best receivers, Adam fucking Thielen.
I just think let's pump the brakes a little bit on CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young's in a way shittier situation.
This whole episode is about slamming the fucking gas, not pumping those brakes.
Here's my thing. CJ Stroud, if we're doing the Bryce Young comparison right now, CJ Stroud was always the more pro-ready right now quarterback.
Sure.
Because he was a guy that completed almost 80% of his passes at Ohio State.
And he's a pro-style quarterback.
He's a pro-style quarterback. Bryce Young, he's a guy that can improvise. He can scramble. He can run. He's got a good arm. But he was a dude that was going to take some time to develop.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, we said this during the drive. This is a guy that if you put him in the right system right now, he can win right away.
Bryce is closer to Tua coming into the league, whereas Stroud is closer to a Joe Burrow.
That's an Alabama thing. Yeah, for sure.
I don't even mean because of Bama either.
I think it's a Bama thing, personally. I just don't think quarterbacks have an ability to work on their deficiencies when you're surrounded by such an absurd amount of talent.
Even play style too. You have to work in the scramble and knowing when to run, when to throw, go through your progression, stuff like that. Where Stroud as a pro style quarterback, pocket passer, same thing as Joe Burrow. We knew he was going to cook when he got in the league.
The Texans are fun right now.
They are.
But yeah,
I actually want to go back to my Texans predictions that I did. I might be pretty close on that.
4-4. Yeah, you're pretty.
Might be right on
pretty
that.
close.
Can we talk about Super Bowl champs just for a second? We talk about the Giants.
Yeah,
you can talk.
2-15 coming up. Marvin Harrison Jr. You are a New York Giant. Congratulations.
See, I don't know. If you're the Giants, do you draft a quarterback?
No, you draft a fucking quarterback.
You have to draft a quarterback. You can get out of that Daniel Jones contract after next year. You're going to pay him money next year, but it was a 2-year contract essentially.
That sucks though, because now you're paying Daniel Jones, and you're paying him to be a mentor.
But here's the thing:
is that the guy we want as a mentor?
No. Do you want? My thing is if you're not set in stone on any of these dudes that are in the draft right now, the quarterbacks, if you're not sold on Caleb Williams, I think fraud. We'll get into that at some point. I'm sure. I've already talked about it.
You have.
If we get into that, Drake Mays look solid, not great. There's the deep quarterback draft class, but we're not really. If you're not sure that your guy's there, we've always said bring a quarterback into a good situation.
I agree.
If you draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you pair him with Marvin Harrison Jr., Saquon, Darren Waller.
Saquon's not going to be there.
He might be.
I don't.
Why would
whatever.
He be?
Darren Waller and Jalen Hyatt could be decent too. Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't mind that.
I don't mind
Marvin
it
Harrison
either.
Jr. is a quarterback.
He's a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why you said quarterback?
He's saying if you surround DJ with these guys.
You surround DJ with these guys.
Well, that's what I think.
I
agree with
DJ's not your guy.
You
already have these dudes where you can bring in.
Why are you talking about this guy? Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
If I'm playing GM, I'm going that
not
route.
A college football fan.
Because you gave Daniel Jones money and you're gonna have to pay him no matter what. So I'd like to at least give him something
you still
to
got
work
those dudes there to bring in.
You were able to win games, whether the stats say he was good or not last year. You were able to win games with Daniel Jones. If you give him a better supporting cast, I do think you would see a closer team to last year than the team you are seeing right now.
They could win.
If I'm the Giants, I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'm riding it one more year with Daniel Jones. I'm trying to build around him. I'm getting a Marvin Harrison if I can, and moving forward.
Okay.
I'm not okay.
You just said.
No, I said, do you draft? I meant to say, do you draft a quarterback?
I'm not okay with another year of mediocrity. I understand that they don't have a great roster, and like I said before, aside from the Cardinals, they might have the worst roster in the fucking NFL.
I legitimately think the Giants are the worst team in football.
They're not. They're the worst team. They might be the worst team.
I think
Tommy
if we played
starting,
I think
their defense is solid. I have a good defense on paper.
All right, well that plays.
Raiders' offense looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, but
that plays even better.
But that's because you had the offenses on the field 20% of the game tops.
Yeah.
Well, that plays better to my point anyways. If Daniel Jones, when he's on the field, he's not playing well.
No, he hasn't played well. I agree with that.
He's overthrowing his receivers constantly. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, we saw that yesterday.
But that's also because the offensive line is fucking
And
awful.
I'm the first person to say, you need to let a quarterback get in a rhythm. You need to put him in a position to. But at some point, Daniel Jones cannot overcome what's going on.
No, but how could Daniel Jones get in a rhythm if he has a second and a half to throw the football every fucking time he's ever dropped back this year?
I agree with that, but it's to the point where
that's not what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Felipe's bringing up the example of that throw to Jalen Hyatt yesterday. Yeah, he was wide fucking open, and he had plenty of time in the pocket to throw the ball. Yeah. It was a normal amount of time. It was not any quicker than anything else. And he just misses him. Felipe's right. Daniel Jones has been playing terribly.
Yeah, he deserves some passes, but at some the same things are happening, and there are still times where he has the protection, he has the time to get it to his open receivers, and he's not able to do it. And like I said, I'm the first guy to say you need to put your quarterback in a rhythm. It's tough to just go out there and you finally have time and finally get it right. It's hard, but you're just gonna go out and try another year. You just have this system. You just tried it this year. It sucked.
No, but,
that,
there wasn't really much time for him to get into a rhythm. He got hurt after week 4, week 5, right? Okay, so I guess that's sometime. But then now he tears his ACL.
Weapons.
There's no
weapons.
Of course, there's no weapons.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying there is no proof. Like the thing that's so upsetting to me about this Daniel Jones injury now is him tearing his ACL. Is that like we will not be able to confirm whether or not this signing was any bit worth it at all. It's just Giants fans are just going to be like Giants fans are just going to be like, oh, he could be good because he showed flashes last year of being good and like we could still have hope. But like other fans are going to be like, yeah, but look at that 5 games.
But can I bring up a point? We just talked about Josh Dobbs being able to come in a good system. Like we just talked about Josh Dobbs, who has been a career backup, comes in with better weapons around him and can play well. Yeah. Nico Collins is a guy that, like we just talked about CJ Stroud being a top 10. They drafted Nico last year, and he had promised last year as well. So there was already somewhat of a weapon. Nico drafted last year? I thought he's in his third year. Okay, so Nico's still been good, right? Like he's not someone that just like popped up out of fucking nowhere and they drafted him. No. Last year, Nico Collins with Brandon Cooks was also playing well.
Yeah, but he was always an underperforming receiver based off of what we thought he would be.
Sure. What I'm saying is there was a weapon in place. There were like pieces. Right. There's no one in fucking place in New York. So I'm just saying,
bro. But
you're right.
I'm not saying Daniel Jones is fucking Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow came to a fucking team that won 1 game the year before. Yeah, he comes in, he balls immediately as soon as he comes on the team. They didn't have that many weapons. He gets hurt midway through the year. The next year they're Super Bowl contender because they're able to add on to that.
No, because
Daniel Jones is not your guy, bro.
He might
Joe Burrow, at least like your team isn't winning, but you know he's your guy. At this point,
Joe Burrow had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Like he had guys.
You swing, but they won 1 game the year before. That doesn't change anything. The Giants are on pace to win 1 to 4 games right this year.
They've won 2.
I would rather.
I hope they don't win again.
I
hope they don't win again.
For sure.
I
would rather swing for the fences and go get a quarterback that's like Joe Burrow than have to deal with the guy that you're hoping can potentially be.
Yeah, but here's the difference.
Average.
I'm not
hoping Daniel can be average now, not even good.
But if I'm the Giants, I'm not necessarily saying that Daniel Jones is the guy. I'm just saying that this might not be the opportunity for us to take a quarterback because we have him under contract. Let's build around him right now, and then worst case, we put someone else.
Let's be real too. If you go out and draft a quarterback right now, this is not a good situation to come into as a rookie whatsoever.
Like, what, we got to go through the Justin Fields experiment again?
You have a horrific offensive line where you're going to get fucking battered and bruised behind it.
Since he had a horrible offensive line.
Joe Burrow's a different fucking talent.
Joe Burrow also got sacked.
That's what you have to swing for.
You don't know if there's anyone like that in this draft.
You do. Caleb Williams. I know you think he's a bust, but his prospect is as good as Joe Burrow's was coming into the league.
It's plummeting right now, but anyway,
he's saying you have to take a
swing. You have to swing for that, bro. That's what teams are doing every time. That's why you trade $1 billion draft picks to go up and draft Bryce Young.
I don't think this is.
I don't think so. I think if you're the Giants,
every year's a spot to swing. If you're a team like the Giants who are going to win 1 to 4 games, you have to swing.
They already won 2. So
okay, 2 to 4 to 5. Like,
I'm trying to give you guys.
They're going to have a top 10 pick. They're going to have a top 10 pick.
Obviously,
that's what I'm saying.
just saying. For me, I'd rather go get a weapon. And then worst case, it doesn't work out next year because I'm paying him $39 million no matter what. I'm going to go get a quarterback next year.
I don't even care if you don't get a weapon. Just get some fucking offensive linemen to protect Daniel or the next guy you draft.
But if I'm a Giants fan, I'm also pissed. If I draft another lineman, bro, you drafted 2 offensive linemen in the last 3 years and it hasn't worked out. Like, we're going to keep doing
Andrew
this.
Thomas is a dog. He's fucking good.
But Evan Neal, we still drafted.
Yeah, Evan Neal sucks.
We have 1 fucking guy left tackle.
I'm just saying, you have there's ways to build a team. I think if you just keep fucking swinging for a quarterback and you don't build up anything around him, you're fucked. You're going nowhere.
You have to swing.
There are other teams doing.
You don't win in this league with Daniel Jones at quarterback. You don't.
I agree with you, but they won games last year.
They didn't win last year.
They won a playoff game.
They won a playoff game.
They won a playoff game last year, brother. They did the same thing as the Cowboys last year.
They beat the Minnesota Vikings, who had a negative point differential in the playoffs.
I get that.
That win doesn't mean fucking bullshit, bro. They come out this year, they have 2 wins.
I agree with
hurt
you.
all year.
I'm just saying, I think the Giants, Daniel Jones might not be your quarterback, but the Giants are not as bad, I think, as the record reflects. And I don't know if they're as good as what they were last year. They're somewhere in the middle. I'm just saying, don't draft a quarterback just yet. I want talent. I want to have Daniel Jones have some weapons. He doesn't have anything to work with.
The Giants are just as
He's
good
also
as
been
the
bad.
record reflects. I don't think
the Giants.
You've had a lot of injuries on the line. You've had
the Giants.
I don't think the Giants are 2 wins.
But that's part of football, Brett. That's just the reality. It's we can't have one starter.
Winning with Tommy DeVito as a quarterback.
You win in this league with the quarterback.
But even with Daniel Jones, I am on Felipe's side here in this Giants argument for the first time.
The Texans were horrible last year. They drafted CJ Stroud hoping he's that guy.
Been good, and we have to admit that. When he has played, when he's been healthy, he has been bad. He misses guys that when Tyrod Taylor was in, he would hit. If you just watch the game, there's a difference in accuracy.
I agree. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the guy.
It's upsetting to me.
I just think there's a way to build them into contenders again. And I don't know if it's
a quarterback right away.
I agree with that.
I'm with you.
Also.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is the Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm just saying I believe because you're paying Daniel Jones no matter what, you can probably get a weapon, get a decent year out of him, and then it's like, you know what? All right, then we need to go swing. But I'm paying him $39 million anyways.
Let me ask you a question.
If Caleb Williams have him sit behind Daniel Jones for a year, you won't do that.
Yeah. So the problem is the contract situation. At some point, you got to eat that, like the Cardinals were able to do when they drafted,
Josh Rosen, that with
Jimmy, like that situation. But let me just ask you the question. Again, the Texans last year, they just hit on CJ Stroud. We agree on that. You swing for the fences to hit on a guy like CJ, to hit on a guy like Joe Burrow, to hit on a guy like Tua, who maybe takes a while to pan out.
Those teams are never paying this much money to a quarterback when they hit on this.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. You might have to
just situation.
The Niners you just brought up, they were paying. They were paying, and they still went after
Josh
a guy
Dobbs
like Trey Lance.
Oh my God.
I just don't think you like.
But again, Josh Dobbs also not the.
Someone commented on our YouTube.
Neither one of these sides is like 100% right. You can go either which way.
I agree. So then I would rather swing for the quarterback.
Fair, you could do that, but unless you get if it's not Caleb Williams, I don't know if you're swinging. If it's Caleb, that's a different story.
All right,
they could legit. If they go winless, they could be 2-17.
My last point is let's look at the last 10 Super Bowl winners. Look at the quarterbacks.
I'm with you. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a Super Bowl
winning
quarterback.
Nick Foles he came in on a Carson Wentz MVP here though, but
he's got something other guys don't.
A huge foot.
Yeah,
that's my only point. Is like you're not going to win with Daniel Jones.
Agree with you.
That's it.
I think we're all in agreement, but we just
have two different philosophies. No, we just have two different philosophies to go.
All right, last game. We've been going for over an hour. I'm sleepy.
It's been a good episode.
Last game.
This is a good one, bro.
Cowboys Eagles. What's it over? How do we feel?
Let's talk about moral victories.
Let me ask you, Felipe. How did you feel about that Cowboys Eagles game despite Cowboys? How did you feel about that Cowboys Eagles game despite the loss?
Solid. Now I'll tell you what. It's a weird situation because it was the best I've ever felt after a loss. Now that sounds like I'm fucking stupid or some shit, or just a pussy. I could be both. But this team played well. It's like after every time you lose a game, you look back and you point at different situations like, oh, this guy could have played better, that could have played better. And sure, there were some moments. Michael Gallup dropped, Jake Ferguson dropped,
stepping out of bounds.
Some dumb penalties at the end that weren't great. But as a whole, this team played very, very well, and so did the Eagles. So neither team really made a mistake. I don't think there was any turnovers, right? Right? I don't think there was any turnovers.
Any flags until the
end. At the end. The
Eagles fumbled, but they recovered their fumble.
Yeah.
And so the game was a very clean game. It was two heavy hitters that were just going back and forth with each other, and it ended up being a 5-point game. And so, look, did I want to win that game? Yeah, I said we were going to kill them. Obviously, it didn't happen that way.
Fences, though.
But it was in Philly. It was you do swing for the fences. The next game is going to be in Dallas, and you saw that these two teams match up very well together. I think the next game is going to be very, very entertaining. So now Dak and Jalen Hurts are 1-1 against each other.
I feel like weirdly this game, like this loss for the Cowboys against the Eagles, makes me think the Cowboys are contenders again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
I
don't care that you lost in the win column or anything. Like you guys are legit as fuck. The Cowboys are legit. And people have to realize that now.
And I think we also
CeeDee Lamb getting involved.
I think we match up well with the Eagles. Now we'll
say back to the Dolphins, Adam.
Dak Prescott played.
The Cowboys played the Eagles way better than you guys did.
Yeah, look, Dak Prescott played the best game.
Who have the Eagles beat? I mean, who have the Cowboys also beaten though?
This year. Hold up, I agree with that. You can argue in that in a second. I'll just say this. That's my final note. Dak Prescott played one of the best games I've ever seen him play in his career. Easily, he played flawless football. Now, he took a late sack at the end of the game that kind of sucked, obviously, because that ran the clock out. But, our right tackle is a problem right now, Terrence Steele. We got to figure out how to fix that. But Dak played an amazing game, 3+ touchdowns. I say 3+ because I don't know if it was 4. It might have been 3.
I think it was 3. Yeah.
But 300+ yards. I mean, he balled the fuck out. I think he might have had.
You guys outgained the Eagles by 150.
Yeah, no, Dak balled the fuck out. And that's what I want to see in a primetime game, obviously a 4 o'clock game. But in a game that's pretty much national TV, aside from in New York and Vegas, Dak balled out, played up to the potential that we know he can. And that's what you want to see going forward, going into the playoffs.
It's one of those games where if you don't look at the box score and you don't see the score, you think the Cowboys won. Me watching it, now looking at the actual score, it just felt like the Cowboys played better. But it's the same reason I'm going to sit here, and it's the same reason I'm trying to talk about the Dolphins, because I felt the exact same way. I feel good coming off of a loss. I thought it's the best the Cowboys have looked. And I'm also going to defend the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys really haven't beaten other people, but it's a win-loss league, and you're going to play well in some weeks. You're going to not play well in others. Like, the Cowboys had weeks where they didn't play well and get blown out, and then they're going to have weeks where they look fucking good. And that's why still been saying the Cowboys, I think 2 weeks ago, I said it. You and I were trying to defend it. It's like the Cowboys are still contenders. I'm not worried about the Cowboys. Like, this is the team that I think we know of from the Cowboys standpoint. The Eagles are also still good. There's 3 teams in the NFC. Been saying that.
Yeah,
Cowboys, Eagles.
There's only 3 legitimate teams in the NFC.
And that's why I keep coming back to, if there's one team that feels like they're not frauds in the NFL, it's the Eagles. Like, they've beaten the teams that they should beat. They've beaten the teams that they could have lost to. They've been the most dominant under that.
Bad game to the Jets, obviously, but
the Jets have a good defense.
The Cowboys smoked the Jets.
Hey, bro, transitive property, brother.
Coming off. All right, but in week 2, coming off an Aaron Rodgers injury, like,
now we'll say this for all you fucking Eagles fans.
Yeah,
The game was in Philly. The officiating, I'm not just saying this, not hate falling back on officiating. I'm not going to say the officiating lost us the game, but the officiating took over the game. It definitely did.
Love it.
The same pass interference
did
call.
That happen when you guys played the Eagles in Philly as well, the Dolphins?
Might have. I don't know.
And you did
the Dolphins didn't have any flags, or the Eagles had no flags, did they?
10-0.
But our game came down to literally like 7 yards, right?
Just saying.
But here's the thing: you call a pass interference on Stephon Gilmore on an uncatchable pass, and you don't call it.
Bullshit.
And you don't call it when it happens to who was it, Michael Gallup or something like that, or CD, or one of these guys. The false start on that final drive wasn't a false start. It literally wasn't there. When you called in an eligible man at the end of the 71. Dak had literally checked in with the official right before that. Made no sense. So the calls, well, I'm not blaming it on that, but obviously, like, those did swing the game. When a game's that close, it swings it one way or the other. So I'll just say, come to Dallas. I already paid the referees. You guys are fucked. Watch out.
How much did that cost?
It is hard. It's hard to beat a team when they got, you got about 12, 13 on offense and defense every time. You only got 11 coming out there. It's tough.
It was 11 versus 13. Very often. Yeah. But Jalen Hurts balled out, and the Eagles are a good team, man.
They are.
That was an opportunity, by the way, to bring it back to the Dolphins game, and I just want to let you know. I know. Well, no, because in the Chiefs,
you didn't do it
first
now.
half.
Yeah,
well, no, I was just making a point that I'm
now
by
saying that. Yeah.
The first half, there were a little discrepancies.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Just saying, week to week league.
I was very tired. I wasn't really looking like that deeply into the discrepancies.
I was exhausted and hungover. I was just looking for an excuse.
Fellas, great time. Week 9.
Win-loss league. You're good. You're good.
Week 9, almost
You're
in the
fucked.
books. The Giants are fucked.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones officially ACL.
Caleb.
Official.
Official?
Oh, RP.
Tough.
He'll be back week 1 next year.
I love how everyone's gonna come for Felipe being like, or this whole podcast, why do you guys hate the Eagles so much, bro? It's
like the Eagles.
You know why?
The Eagles are the best team.
Football. We gotta chase them, bro.
No, it's not even that. It's just like everything deserves context. Like, the Eagles are fucking good, but then there's also reasons as to why we could say that the Eagles aren't as good as they.
I would say like
last year.
They might be 8. The Eagles might be 8-1, but I'm not sold on them being the best team in football. Like, 100%.
I think they're the best team in football.
I think they're the best team in football.
I can say that, but are they going to come out of the NFC? Who the fuck knows?
Who knows? We'll wait and we'll find out. Guys, we got to wrap up here.
I have to pee so bad.
Me too. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Caps Off podcast. Be sure to come back to our cafeteria episode on Wednesday. We also got, on Tuesday, we have fantasy advice from Felipe and Adam. I don't know if you want their advice.
Y'all are apparently winning people leagues.
Someone must have said Keaton Mitchell like 3 weeks ago. That's
crazy.
Like, good for you.
Dude, crazy.
Someone must have did. I didn't know if it was me, but like someone.
Well, I got him in Dynasty. I got him like off the rip.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for listening to the Caps Off podcast. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. I gotta go.